think we're good. When it's going live for you guys. How are you guys today? It is Thursday, the last day of March. Hope you're all doing really well. I am dragging today, man. Get all the caffeine that I can get. But I've been very busy. I've been trying to take the music side of things a lot more seriously again, because I figure if we're going to be out and playing a bunch, I might as well have an album that I can push that's new to go along with it. So I've been working overtime here to try to finish this up, and I'm really happy with how it's going so far. So I wanted to talk to you guys about it a little bit today, if you didn't mind. And obviously we could talk about anything that you guys would like to talk about in the meantime as well. Ian, how are you doing? It's been one hell of a day here. So good to stop, have some. What's up over there? It's been a hell of a day, huh? Close that. Ugh, that dog doesn't sneak his way in here. Hey Marcus, how's it going? Yeah, holy man. Let me tell you, these Almo people, that guitar's going to be here tomorrow. I made that deal yesterday. And that guitar that I ordered from them is going to be here tomorrow. So I was going to do the CE24 because I was telling Marcus about this. I worked out a deal, and yes, a nice bottle of Japanese whiskey is being exchanged. And yeah, CE24 is going to be one of the two main gigging guitars. That guitar and the guitar that's coming tomorrow. So that's pretty awesome. I'm really stoked about that. It's been good. Been really good. Hey, James. How's it going? But things have been really good. One thing that's been really bad, not necessarily bad, but I feel bad about it. I opened up YouTube today because I've been trying to not spend so much time on it. Like even just like in the creator dashboard, like I'll look at the analytics, I'll respond to a bunch of comments. I'm so far behind. It showed me like 115 comments I have to respond to. I've been really bad about it. So I'm sorry about that. I've just been trying to focus, and these things are time sinks in a way. They're good time sinks, but it's time that takes me away from, trying to really record and work on things. Because if you have your phone in your hand, one thing that you should never do if you're recording, don't have any distractions near you. And I'm living by that. And as a consequence of that, it might look like I'm not caring so much about that part of it. But yeah, I acknowledge it. Hasn't been the best with that. So, all right, everybody's rolling in here. Just with a lot of working, deadlines. Yeah. Ian, you don't have kids. You still got it easy. Hey, Jason, how's it going? And Robbo. Thomas, not here long, but the CE24 Semi is great. Yeah, this is a really cool guitar, man. It's a really cool guitar. And I started to mention this again in the Discord, but I think that purple CE24 I had, I think it must have had like an abnormally thin neck on it, because the last two that I've played have not been like that. This one feels much bigger, even though it's still pattern thin. And there's always going to be a little bit of differentiation because of the sanding with these. They're not all CNC machined out, so there's going to be a little bit of variance, but much better. I like the guitar a lot more than the purple one, even though I thought the purple one looked really nice. It was a gorgeous instrument. It's just too narrow for me. My other half has kids, so I got to deal with them anyways. That's enough for me. Yeah, no, that's too much. That's too much. Kids are great, but kids are a handful, dude. Especially once they get too smart for their own good. Oh man, it's a nightmare. I could tell you some stories, but it's stuff that I'm sure would bore a lot of people in here. So I'll try and stay away from that. But I want to talk about the guitars that I'm using right now that I've been tracking with. So for the most part, a lot of it's like I'd say 90% clean. You'd be amazed how much I keep going back to that Les Paul. I don't know what it is, and it's only the neck pickup. The neck pickup clean on that guitar is so good. It's so good that I find myself, when I need a beefier section, or I'm not layering and I'm just having like the one guitar kind of as a backbone here, I love the neck pickup of a Les Paul. It's strange. Most people associate Les Pauls with a very distorted or girthy kind of dirt tone, but no, I find myself when I pick up a Les Paul more apt to wanting to play clean than anything else. And then when I play the McCarty, I'm using that for my kind of my dirt and my because I feel like it cuts better in a little bit of a mix. The McCarty does than the Les Paul. The Les Paul gets to be a little too much once you introduce the gain and with the rest of the instruments for what I'm working on right now. So yeah, it's really interesting how different those two guitars are. They're very, very, very different sounding. I can't believe mine is grown. I don't feel like I am that old. Yeah. Well, and it's funny when you watch them grow up. It's like you feel really old randomly at times, because now we're going back to books when she was like 1 or 2 that I would read her like every day because you know how kids are, like they find their favorite books and you read them, and now she's reading them back to me. So it's like it's going through that like circle. Like I'm revisiting this, remembering how she was when she was little, and now she's like reading it back to me. It's wild, dude. It's absolutely wild. Oh, in all the best ways, but yeah, it's still wild. Went to order a Red Star. Was in stock yesterday, but it's now not anymore. That's what I was gonna. That was one of the guitars I was gonna buy. I wanted to buy. I actually wanted the Merlot too. I was thinking about that guitar. I was thinking about the Yvette Young in that candy orange, something like that. And both of those guitars, they were saying middle of the summer, late summer, and I was like, that's too late. And because I need something that I can take like starting next week to go and play outside with. And in Florida, I like nitro finishes, but I'm not like super. I don't know. Some people are really like, I'll only play a guitar with a nitro finish. You know what I mean? I'm not really like that, but I prefer not to take a guitar with a nitro out in such a humid and hot environment, and then potentially with like all the rain and all that stuff that can just open up. If you ever lived in Florida or visited Florida, it can be perfectly sunny, and then 5 minutes later you're in a torrential downpour. So I'm like, yeah, that's no good. But the Fender Nitro especially is very susceptible to those kinds of things. So I wanted something that would be like, something fun, a little bit different. And no, couldn't get them. Can't get the Rev Stars. Everything is so backed up with those, which rightfully so. I mean, for $800, that's incredible. But I wanted the one with the P90s. So that was an even longer wait, because I guess they're probably going to make less with P90s than with humbuckers. I assume the humbucker models sell better. That would just make sense for me from a business standpoint. But yeah, it makes me kind of have to wait a little bit longer. Eventually, provided, things stay somewhat normal. Later down the road, that's a guitar that I would absolutely like to demo and play with. I forgot I had some extra cash stash, so I was waiting to get paid next week. I could get the white one, but not sure. Well, you're not sure, that means don't buy it. And you know that. It's not what you want. It's not help. Chris Buck has helped, but Chris Buck hasn't helped, like, I don't know, not as much as people would think. Not when it comes to like actually moving guitars, because maybe he sells a few extra because of his channel and all that, but like you have to consider it's like the average person when they walk into the Guitar Center. First of all, they have no idea who the hell Chris Buck is. They don't know. Most of them won't even know like who like Beato is or somebody like that. Most people don't. Most people don't. Most like casual / intermediate players, like they don't like sit on YouTube and do all this stuff all the time like we do. You know what I mean? So I feel like the average person who's just kind of disconnected from this side of it is walking into a Guitar Center and they recognize certain shapes and certain brands, and they might not even know that one of those really nice Yamahas is as spec'd out and as good as it is. They might not even walk up to pick it up, whereas Les Paul body style, shape guitar or a Strat or a Tele, something like that, they might be a little more willing to be like, oh, it's the new version of that. Let me try that first. So I don't think he's hurt them. I definitely don't think Chris Buck playing Yamahas has hurt Yamaha. But I don't think it's, market shifting, so to speak. Yeah, he plays Rev Stars and he plays Squires, which I like. He plays the weird ones though. He plays the Silver Series. Nothing wrong with them. All those older Japanese ones are good, but I like the SQs and the JVs, which I have been playing a ton of. So it's so funny. You get all these guitars. Well, I have all these guitars now, and when I sit and I'm ready to track, I could do everything with just a telly. I could do everything with just a telly, but I find myself using the Strat a lot too. That guitar records so well. That specific Stratocaster. It's just like I always kind of like put it in the back of my mind, like, it's there if I need it, but I always try and kind of experiment with other things first. I always end up, for certain parts, I always end up just using the Strat anyways, but like, it's criminal how good a Telecaster is. It's criminal. Like, it's frustrating, really. It's frustrating in the best possible first world problem way how good the Fender Telecaster is at everything. Doesn't matter what genre you throw at it. The only thing that thing can't nail, like in a recording environment, is the fourth position. It just can't do it. You do not get that same kind of quack and that same kind of vibe that you get from a Stratocaster. You just don't. And I love that. Obviously, I play a lot of funk and that kind of stuff, so that's of the utmost importance a lot of the time. But man, tellies, they are just, man, damn things just do everything. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I'm interested to see how the McCarty will do for compared to a telly. I'm working on a long form of that where I'm gonna take like a 1 minute section of one particular song that already has the drums and the bass and secondary guitars. I'm gonna A and B blind for you guys, so you don't know. Well, most of you'll be able to tell, but just to kind of show the telly and the McCarty kind of back to back within the context of a mix. And really, it's not even so much to show how good the McCarty is, because the McCarty's great, but it's to show how deceptively big Telecasters can sound. There's so many parts that were played on records that people think were done on Les Pauls or SGs or other humbucker equipped guitars are really just done on a Telecaster. It's wild. Just the best guitars, man. They're just the best. I could have 50 of them. But can't justify that. So we'll see how it goes. So yeah, no, I mean, between that and then with the vibrato stuff, everything is just Jaguar. That's it. I don't touch the other ones. And yeah, so I'm only really using the Jag, the Les Paul a little bit, the Telly, the McCarty, and the Strat. And that sounds excessive, but on the last record I worked on for the band Day to Day, I think I ended up using, well, I tried to use like 10 different guitars. It ended up mostly being the CE24 and the 339. Finally pulled the trigger in a Sparkle Purple Fusion 3. 3 guitars is $70 now again? They changed it back? See, I'm waiting. I was waiting for my next order from Tolman because I wanted to get more than one. I saw that they teased a picture, I think it was a week ago, and it looks like it might be a Maserite, which is really cool. That would be a guitar I would demo, 100%. Probably cost about $200. I figured if I was gonna do that, then I'd order a second one, just to whatever, and then sell it at like face value locally, because the shipping's gonna kill you. If I were to sell it and then ship the thing, it would be like half the price of the guitar. At that point, what's the point? But then give somebody a good deal here to offset a little bit of the cost because the shipping is included. That used to be the trick with Harley Benton's, because you could get 3 guitars for $30 shipped over in one box. That was a good deal. And then you keep one, you sell the other 2, you almost break even. So it's almost like you got a free guitar. Not bad. Sorry, 74 and change, but yeah, no, that's still really cheap. And to the people that complain that Tolman's charging 75 or even $80 in some cases to ship a guitar to America. It's crazy because first of all, I pay more than that to ship domestically. Okay, so you have to consider, and that's with a business discount. You have to consider Tolman is using in most cases 3 day select. Well, that's what Express Worldwide Express Saver is from UPS, and it's coming from Germany to the United States, and it's costing that little. That's so competitive right now with the way things are. It's a great deal. But people say, "Oh, well, it's I don't want to have to pay that for $150 guitar or $200 or $300 guitar." It's like, well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's not the guitar price's fault. Like the actual shipping rate is fantastic from Tolman. It's so good. Yeah, exactly. They ship really fast, and that's why I was half expecting that they were going to announce the new guitar today, because I order whenever I do this, because whenever YouTube works in a funny way, and I've kind of figured it out, but I don't do this for all the Harley Bentons. As you can see, there's a few models I skipped. I skipped the Aeolus. I skipped the Explorer. I skipped another one that had EMGs, and I skipped the double bound Telecaster because I just got the Seafoam Green, same basic guitar. But when I see that they have something, I order it the day it releases so that I'm the first one to demo it, because that makes all the difference in the world. It really does. So we're just waiting. But I'm not going to buy Harley Bentons that don't interest me for the sake of buying a Harley Benton. That's dumb, because you're going to see it on my face when I'm doing the demo that I'm not into it. And then it's going to translate into the video, and then it's just going to seem like an advertisement. So, no, I'm not going to do that either. But a Maserati would be cool. That's something I would actually be pretty excited about. I don't have one of those style guitars. I've played a few, but that would be a lot of fun. Hopefully it's something different, something unique. I'm boycotting Harley Benton. I lost it all at the casino. I just sent a vintage receiver to Arizona from New York, and the shipping was $55. Yeah, it's nuts. I just shipped. I shipped the Mustang. I shipped the Mustang from here to California with full. I think I insured it for $3,000. Yeah. You can guess what I paid. Wasn't great. But you got to do these things. Especially with a guitar like that, you have to insure it like to the teeth. Because if you don't, and something happens to a guitar that took them like 2 years to make and get right, that's not going to end well. And I don't think there's any custom shop Mustangs used on Reverb. I looked for months. I couldn't find any. There's been like 2 shops that have gotten in sets of 3 brand new ones, but they've been $5,000 a pop. Prices of custom shop guitars flying, man. They're flying, and they're only going to get higher. So it is what it is. One of their gig bags. Last thing I needed. Yes, I get that. Well, one thing I didn't like about Tolman, when I ordered the HB35 Plus, now that was the 335 style instrument, okay? I ordered the hard case with it, but the main reason I ordered the hard case with it was so that it would be protected during its flight from Germany to America. They shipped it in a separate box. So the 335 style guitar shows up in a wedge box with no protection, and then a case just is in a separate box. And I was like, why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? But, I mean, at the end of the day, it showed up without damage, so it is what it is. Hey, guys, just tested positive and feeling crap. Oh, I'm sorry, man. You can't even sell guitars now? I thought you were done selling anyways, Rafa. Didn't you get rid of everything? What do you have left? Maybe I'll buy a guitar from you. But you'll be all right. The only thing I would worry, because you get the kids running around and the wife. Have they said that you can just kind of sit in the room by yourself for the next few days? That's the only thing I would worry about. Something like that. That's a tough one. You're young. You're strong. You're smart. You'll be all right. Yes, everyone get well soon for sure. I asked you guys to leave me a well vote really. Let me see if how this is doing right here. Let me click on it. Okay, 51 votes. Not bad. I was expecting like 10 or 15 votes. So this is good. Because obviously we're doing one more new guitar. Actually, I might squeeze it out to two because I could technically do the CE24. I could do a full rip down of that. I've never actually done a full review of one of those in the way that I normally do it. So really that would be two guitars. And then I have the guitar coming from Alamo tomorrow. And I was asking, I'm like, well, what are we going to do after that? Because I don't know. We've talked about the shipping. We've beaten all these horses to death, so to speak, with costs and all that. And I'm not flipping guitars for the moment. It would have to be such a no-brainer, like guaranteed, like sell within 2 days and make like $400 or $500 a guitar for me to consider it. And that's not in this market. But let me see here. So I asked you guys what you want to be, because I like doing one demo a week. So most of you said long-term reviews. That would be fun. And some of you said just do whatever you're interested in, what makes you happy. I mean, I'd be happy and interested to do all of those. Otherwise, that's why I wouldn't just do something for the sake of doing it. I picked those options because they were all options I would be happy to do. That's all. But Rafa, what do you have left? You didn't answer me. And how many days has it been? Because the first few days are always the roughest. But I have faith. I have faith that you'll be all right. I think that this one. I think Augie is shadow banned here because every time he types a comment, it automatically is censored, even if he doesn't swear. But hold on. I only sold the Eastman and traded the Gordon Smith for a Fender Mexican Strat that I'm selling too. Okay. You traded a guitar for a guitar that you're going to sell. What Mexican Strat was this again? There has to be like significant uptime or profit increase here to trade one guitar that you're going to sell for another guitar that you're going to sell. But yeah, the market's stale, but it's also not stale. Like weird things you can't buy. Stuff that you wouldn't think is like impossible to get is impossible to get, but that like there's a lot of really good stuff that's not selling. And not selling at like really good prices. Which I find, I don't know, I just don't understand the market. I really don't. Not the new market at least. Yeah, like that's a really good deal. There's stuff out there, but you know, you have these brands like Gibson and Fender. I think people are really afraid of what they're gonna be charging in the near future, so they're kind of just waiting it out. I haven't forgotten. No, you don't have to send me. You didn't need to send me anything to begin with. You didn't need to send me anything to begin with. You don't have to apologize for something that you offered to me. It gets here when it gets here. That'll be a demo day. We'll try the Friedman versus the pedal, the Friedman pedal. He's not sending me an amp. He's sending me a pedal to demo out. We'll try that and the Jackson audio. We'll see how they sound compared to each other. I'm waiting on a plumber, then off to the post. You're waiting on a plumber. I don't mean to laugh at it because of that. It's just funny to think of. I've always had bad experiences with plumbers. I don't know why. Hey Jim. Yeah, Augie. I don't know, man. They don't like you. You must go into live streams or you must leave like political comments or something like that because you show up on here but you don't show up in the main chat. It's really funny. And yeah, you didn't have anything positive to say about the other shop, but you're saying very positive things about Alamo music, which I was blown away. You know how stupid I felt? We'll talk about that real quick. You know how stupid I felt? I had seen a bunch of Alamo videos over the years. Okay? I didn't pay that much attention to who was who. So when I had called them and I get transferred because of what I was talking about. Some of you guys would know what I was talking about. I didn't want to stir up any shit or get anybody in trouble. But they transferred me to Cooper. I didn't realize Cooper was the main demo guy. That guy's a hell of a player. And so like we go through all this and we're talking and just like I talked to this guy for like an hour and just totally normal, totally awesome guy. Really, really just like cares about his company. He was like telling me about like stuff that he wants to do moving forward for the store. And just like he really cares. And sure enough, yeah, like that's the YouTube guy. Like that's the YouTube. I had no idea. I didn't put two and two together until I was looking to see if they did a demo of the guitar that I bought from them, and they did. And then it's just like, hi, I'm Cooper Greenwood, and I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, you're the guy. I was just like, what? Like we were just texting each other. What is this? This is wild. So I feel even better about all of this now. It's like, yeah, like that. This is how a shop should be run. This is the kind of shop that I want to support. And this guy's a great player. And I don't think they do any kind of like weird, non-directly like music or guitar related stuff on their channel for the most part, which I appreciate. And sometimes I don't like doing that. I told Marcus this too. Even after last week's stream, I felt strongly enough about that topic and wanting to correct a lot of the bullshit that was said in that initial video that I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. But I felt crappy. Like genuinely, I felt crappy afterwards. I was like, oh, I felt dirty. I don't like that negative stuff. I don't like that aspect of things. I want to talk about guitars. I want to talk about, good values. I want to just share honest opinions with you guys. Like maybe I guess like if all you ever do is look at things in a manner of like profit margin, sale, sale, sale. Maybe you're like a little more cynical in life and whatever. Maybe that can translate to how you feel about music and musical instruments, but I don't like that. It really made me feel like crap for like a day and a half after. And that was with like 99% of the people agreeing with me. I still, like, it wasn't even like the comments. It's like, I don't like that. I'd much rather talk about channels that contribute quality, and spread a good message and talk about music and gear in a positive way. And Alamo's great. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy about this freak accident where I just happened to see something and then I reached out to them to begin with here. And I'm really fortunate that I ended up talking to Cooper. And he's been so cool about being direct with me and calling and seeing what's up with that. They are just as good as it gets. As good as it gets. And then with the fiasco, well, not the fiasco, but Dave's Guitar Shop, I don't know how much I'm going to be buying from them anymore because they switched their payment service. So it's now Shopify. So everything's taxed. Even though I live in Florida, I shouldn't be paying the tax from out of state. So regardless, it's just default taxing me. So I might as well order on Reverb. And I mean, their prices are still really good at Dave's, but it's like kind of takes the sting out of it a little bit with some of the more higher price stuff. You're not getting as good of a deal to especially to resell things. So it's like, I don't know. So I'll still always look at Dave's. But as far as like anything new, I don't know. There's Alamo. There's Top 40 Guitars. The only thing with Top 40 Guitars in Santee, which is Eastern San Diego, is they have a very limited inventory. They just don't have much compared to a lot of these other shops. So like if I really need something, odds are they're not going to have it. And yeah, there's a few other little stores that like I go for. And now Danville Music, the place where we got the PRs from, those guys were awesome too. But they didn't sell the kind of guitar that I wanted, which is why I didn't call them. And I reached out to Alamo because I remembered the conversation I had, and I felt bad for them. I have just tested positive. I had an offset P90 St. John's made and Loxley strap. I got the Fender strap with a cache in a case. Oh, that's not bad. Hold on, I forgot. Yeah, he was here last week. His work started leaking the minute he left. That's awesome to hear about. Alamo, Cooper's been there forever. He had short hair in the early videos. They're charging me tax just on default. So if I went to Dave's guitar shop right now and I went to go check out with something and I put in my information, it doesn't matter. It just automatically accrues the tax, and the same as on Reverb. Reverb didn't used to be like that either. When you would put in the zip code, it would go appropriately based on that. Like in California, I always pay tax. I mean, that's, you live in California, you're paying for everything all the time. But in Florida, yeah, I mean that shouldn't be an issue. And most shops, it actually defaults to not doing it depending on the payment processing vendor that you're using to do it. But Shopify, as I just mentioned, they're ones that they're just taxing you, period, no matter what. So yeah, so yeah, Marcus, it's a super gray area, but they're trying to make it not a gray area. I think that this ship has sailed these days of being able to do things tax free, regardless of if I'm in a state where that's like okay. I think that they're just trying to tax everything, period, no matter what now. It is what it is. And that's what happens when, you print more money than God and you realize, oh no, we don't have any money left. Well, yeah. Who's going to pay for it? We are. And then we'll fund the next one too. But yeah, the reverb thing only changed after a court case. There was like an online selling court case, and the judge ruled in favor of the tax needing to be collected. So that's when Reverb changed their policy. And Reverb, Etsy, I don't know if this is going to happen or when this is going to happen. Well, it's going to happen. It's just Etsy announced they're increasing their fees by another 1.5%, which means I wouldn't be shocked if Reverb is going to do the same thing very shortly here. So instead of it being 7.7% or 7.5%, if you sell a lot on Reverb, you're looking at, it's going to be 9%, almost 9.2% of whatever you sell on Reverb, and the shipping on top of it. Tough. That's tough. That's reality though. And they dominate the market so hard that they can easily charge that, and they're going to get away with it. And what I've found is, like, even on the gear page, like, I'll list guitars for hundreds less, and then that's with no sales tax, because it's just a straight deal. It's a private sale. Like, just PayPal me the money, right? On the gear page, it won't sell. But then on Reverb, somebody will pay the exorbitant price plus the tax on top of it. And I don't price it exorbitant because of greed. I price it because after all the fees and after all the shipping, I'm like breaking even. Like, that's like, somebody was asking me, like, can I get a discount on the Jaguar? I'm a big viewer of the channel. And I wanted to say to him, like, if you were a big viewer of the channel, you would know that you could get this guitar for much less. Like, just go to the website. What are you doing? I'll happily sell it to you for less, but not on Reverb. I'm not. That's a significant bigger piece of the chunk that I'm losing when I sell it on Reverb. But I didn't say that in the DMs because I at least respect Reverb enough to not do that. It's tempting sometimes to say that stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, I do have stuff listed on their platform, and while I might not agree with all the stuff, it is what it is. I have to play by their rules. Yeah, that's what I figured. Hey, Staley. How's it going? The court case was South Dakota versus Wayfair. See, I know some things. But you know more about this one than I do specifically. But yeah, no, that court case changed a lot when it came to online and sales collecting requirements, if you will. So I found that very interesting. But everything's going up. I mean, can you get mad at Reverb? The other thing is, people don't remember this. Marcus don't remember this. Some other people remember this too. eBay, when you used to sell guitars on eBay, that was 10%, and then processing fees, and then shipping. That was wild. That was a wild, wild west. Those fees were no joke. So when Reverb came along, and it was like a fraction of that at first. At first, it was just like, this is the greatest website in the history of the world. It's owned by a very reputable shop, Chicago Music Exchange, that are musicians. This is awesome. This is great. And for a while, Reverb was. It was impossible to beat it. And then they sold Etsy, and now we're going right back into another cycle. And it's going to take another kind of vendor to step in here to try and take market share away and force more competition. But then again, that takes us back to last week's thing. You need competition to maintain balance, just like you need Harley Benton guitars to keep other companies honest. Because if you can buy something fully specced out for a few $100, why would I spend 4 times as much money to get something not as good just because of the brand on the headstock? At the end of the day, people want the best service or the best product for the least amount of money possible. And having monopolies not be a thing is a good way to have that work. Competition's a good thing. What guitars keep their value the most? Fenders and Gibsons. More specifically, American vintage and up for Fenders. Les Paul standards do okay. You're almost going to get back what you paid depending on the standard. But the way, if you're looking for a guitar that's going to really hold its value, used Gibson Customs, like Historics, really, R8s, R9, that holds its value through anything. The whole world could get, EMP'd and nuked, and people would still pay top dollar for R9s in mint condition. That's just the way of the world. And 335s, out of the production guitars, 335s are extremely solid investments if you buy a Gibson. A lot of Paul Reed Smith guitars you would think hold their value well. Not the case. Not the case at all compared to Fenders and Gibsons. Brand power, man. That's why it's good to always have 1 or 2 of those around. That's why we're not going to get rid of the Les Paul. Plus, I like it. Reverb scared eBay when they started. Oh, yeah, they scared them and they forced them. But now look at eBay's trying to get people back. It's not happening. Popularity breeds profits, which breeds mediocrity. Yeah. Yeah. But that's universal to everything, though. The trick is to not fall for that trap. You can't look at a few bucks and compromise everything, whether it's your business, whatever it is you're doing in life. Because eventually, people are really good at figuring out when somebody's full of shit. You guys are good at it. I'm good at it. You can tell right away when someone's going through the motions, or when someone's pitching you something, or someone's, loosely following a script. You can tell. You're not dumb. You're not dumb. And what happens is, when people pick up when a company or a person or whatever it is starts doing that, they move away from them. And that's it. They'll go on to the next person that gives them what the other person used to give them. So really, you just hurt yourself in the long run for a few bucks up front. Stupid business idea in my book. I couldn't believe how little the Custom 24 artist package was. Dude, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Jason, go to Jimmy's right now. Jimmy's Vintage Music. They have one of the 35th anniversary Custom 24s for, I think, $1,100. Like, what? They have, I think it's a 1991 or a 1992 core Custom 24 for under $25. That would sell for way more than that on Reverb. But like the PRS guitars, and they don't hold as much value. They just don't. And that's why when I made the commitment with the Purple McCarty, I knew that that's exactly what I wanted. Because I knew that if I had decided to sell this guitar, I don't like taking losses. That guitar is a long haul guitar because of that. Whereas you buy the Wildwood Les Paul Standard, I'm like, oh yeah, in a worst case scenario, like I'll pretty much basically get back exactly what I paid for it, PRS, I don't look at them like that. That's why I generally don't like buying PRS guitars new. I prefer to buy them used. If I build a Kit 335, what pickup should I use? Seth Lovers, if you're on a budget that is mid-range. Lindy Fralin pure PAFs if you want to spend a little extra and be good about it. That's the way I would go. Or, if you don't have, well, yeah, you're not really going to get much cheaper because you can get a set of Set Lovers or Pearly Gates. Pearly Gates are pretty good in 335s. I like those. Really, I even like the 57 Classics. The ones that came in the 335, no, 339 that I had. I thought those pickups were good, but they're so overpriced. I wouldn't buy those over a set of Lindy Fralins. No chance. But they were really good. Right now, there are good deals on cheaper Gibsons, distributes, and studios because nobody wants them. Yeah. Nobody wants them. People don't want to spend $1,600-$1,700 on a Les Paul studio. That's crazy pills. That's crazy pills. And people are finally picking it up. That's why you can, if you want one of those. If you want one of those, you can get a great deal. You call up. I don't know if Alamo has any of those in stock. I know they carry Gibson, but give them a call. Give them a call. Don't just bother Cooper. I'm sure they all have great workers there. It's just a freak accident that because of the reason that I called, I ended up with Cooper, who ended up being, who was the sales manager. I didn't know any of this. I felt so stupid. And one thing that I can only imagine is just like how many people would call, like asking me specifically to talk to him because of YouTube. That made me feel kind of bad after. I was like, oh, I'm like, I hope he's not thinking that that's why. But no, I mean, he was just the person I dealt with. And whenever I deal with anybody on a name-to-name basis, like I call back, I try to talk to that person again. Like Bruce at Wildwood Guitars. Another great shop. Love those guys too. But yeah. Oh, thank you. To buy a Corey Wong Strat or build a Kit 335. Very, very different choices. Very different options. I don't know. I've seen 2 new ones for under 1,100. Eddie's Guitars has a Corey Wong model new, I think. Give them a call. See what they'll do for you. What is a Corey Wong new? $2,000? You get 15% off of that. That's not bad. UK, there are some great deals to be found, but those PRS prices Jim just mentioned, some good deals, a 2x5 bracket, but so much below that. No, really. Yeah. Oh, the tangerine. Yeah, that makes sense. That was not a popular color for them. And I don't think they did a good job with the plastics on that guitar either. Like, aesthetically. I don't think it's a very good looking instrument. Let's see here. So I haven't had a poll question today, but I don't like arbitrarily writing in a poll question for the sake of it. If I don't have something on top of my head, I'm not going to do it. All right, so Gibson Studio. Let's see if Alamo has any. I typed in Gibson Studio. I did tell Cooper this, though. I said, your website's not the easiest to navigate as far as getting exactly what I'm looking for here. So yeah, Gibson Studio returns a lot of stuff like pianos and straps, strings, basically anything that's not a guitar is what shows up. So I should help those guys. I should help them revamp their website. But if I had to pick between a 335 or a Strat, what do you already have? That's a vital question. I mean, I'm biased. My head says it's the Strat all day. And you know what? So does my heart. I'm not even going to bullshit you guys. I like that kind of sound. But I'm not, I don't know. I always kind of discount Strats from this conversation because I have like the ultimate Strat for me. Like I don't shop for Strats. And one model that I considered buying, I seriously considered this, was the SE Silver Sky. because I was like, oh, that'll be a great backup guitar. But like I'm like it'll never have a use outside of that though, because I'm never gonna track with it. Like I have like an SE Silver Sky's not gonna outdo the JV. It's just not. It's just not. So in a recording environment, it's like, yeah, it's literally just a live guitar. Whereas with the CE24, that guitar is a Swiss Army knife in a studio, dude. Doesn't matter what kind of music you're doing, you can always find a use for that. Great guitars, man. You have an Ibanez Geo, play some acoustic, and need something I can hammer on. Buy a Strat. Then buy a Strat. Although, if you play acoustic, the 335 will feel a lot more natural to you. I like them both. And I'm really happy. You don't need to buy a Gibson 335. You could build a kit like what you wanted to do. Or, there's other companies that make pretty decent ones. The Sire was all right. The 77, if the 77 wasn't impossible for everybody to buy in America, that's all I would be telling you guys to buy. And just laughing your way to the bank. Bringing it into the stores that stock in Epiphones, playing them back to back, and just hysterically laughing at the quality difference. It's night and day. It's not even close. The Epiphones are toys after you play one of those. Got to run. Have a great weekend. Same to you, Jason. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy you ended up with that artist one, man. And I have an idea of what you paid, because I think I actually saw that guitar or a very comparable one listed in their used section, and I was just like, that price is too cheap. The answer is always to buy a Telecaster. If you don't buy a Telecaster, buy a Jaguar. Then you figure out the rest after that. You play so hard. The SE Custom 24 is awesome too. That was the other guitar I was considering, but then it kind of fell into the same boat that the Silver Sky would have fallen into. Because I have the CE24, I was like, that would only have the one purpose. Like I wouldn't track with the SE Custom 24 over the CE24. And because I'm using the CE24 as the guitar to gig with, like the main one, then I mean for continuity's sake, it would be smart to have two of a very similar instrument like that. But external uses, I mean, I'm just not going to track with it compared to anything like that. But those are so good. And I wasn't planning on the CE24, dude. I wasn't planning on any of it. Strange story. But yeah, it's ours now. It's ours. Sent over a bottle of Yamazaki. That's the good stuff. Not many things tempt me to drink ever. And I told my wife this. I said, the day I'm gonna crack and I'm gonna have a drink is when I walk into a bar and they actually have like Yamazaki 18 or Hibiki. Hibiki 12 or something like that. Like that might get me to crack. I might have a glass of whiskey at that point. But no, everything else doesn't do it for me. Stuff is fantastic. Sorry I'm a bit late to this live stream convo. I was shocked to hear that Dave says sales tax now. I know. What? You don't have sales tax? That's wild. Why is that? Because I do, and I'm in Florida. This is ridiculous. I haven't mentioned the Ibanez AS93 for a few weeks. Oh, Robbo, that's a really good point. That is a really good point. Yeah, those Ibanez's are great. And one of the guitars I wanted, like I said, I wanted to try the Yvette Young, the orange one. They're like, yeah, it'll ship in October. I'm like, well, what the hell? Like, you're going to ship it to me after the season? It's like a sporting event. In mid-Florida, when you have the whole outdoor gigs and stuff going on, the season kicks in and you go out and play a lot more. And it kind of cools down a little bit, but then it picks up again when it really gets cold up north. All the people from up north come visit, and they're called the snowbirds. And they'll go out, they'll spend their money, they'll have fun, and they want to see live music too. They want to be entertained. But, yeah. New York makes up for sales tax. Oh, New York. And oh, don't get me started on New York and money. Oh, man. That's an expensive place to live. I'm a lefty, and usually guitars under 1,000 have incorrect pots in it, so I'm impressed with, among other things. I think a lot of people are like you, Dan. I think a lot of people kind of always had the wrong impression of Paul Reed Smith guitars for one reason or another. And there's some pretty valid reasons, especially for somebody that goes to forums. I could see why people do not like PRS guitars. That they some of those people, man, that are fanatical about those, they're really insufferable. There's no other way of saying it. But when you actually play one in person, it's like, oh, I get it. And I was playing this morning the McCarty back-to-back with the Gibson, the Les Paul. And they're very different tonally. I don't want to comment on that of it, but like as far as like when you're actually playing them and like the experience of it, the McCarty feels like a very high precision quality tool. Like it's very refined. And it's like he thought of everything with it. It's just perfect. It's so stable. It's just there's no guessing. There's no like anything like that when I play that guitar. The Gibson has a little bit of that like rawness to it, which is also cool. They're both cool. I'm not sitting here saying one is definitively better than the other, but like there's just such different vibe, and I really appreciate that about Paul's guitars. That it's just like it kind of takes the guitar, like the question of is the guitar gonna do what I need it to do, or is it gonna stay in tune? Is it gonna do this? Like no, that's all thrown out the window when you play a PRS guitar. You focus on the actual playing, and you focus on the performance or whatever you're doing at that given moment with the guitar. Because you can rely on that guitar. You know you can. And that's worth the price of admission. Honestly. I like that. I love that about Paul Reed Smith guitars. Okay. Connecticut also sucks for taxes. Yeah. Why are some sites charging tax and some not? I mainly use 3 in 3 different states and they don't charge me tax. It's all... The party's going to be over. This is going to be the last year of it too. This is going to be the last year of it. There's going to be no more sales tax free, unless you're in a state that just doesn't do it, period, and you're actually in that state buying it. I think that's going to be the only workaround, and I think there's only 5 states that do that. Oregon, Delaware, and middle of nowhere. I apologize if you're in one of those places. Maybe one of the Dakotas, something like that. But yeah, actually both the Dakotas, that would make sense. Just put a stage trem bridge in my Jag. Terrific improvement in spring chasing unplugged tone, to say nothing of its other attributes. Good job. I got a stage trem in my Jag. I think it's great. You got a mute or just a regular Jag setup? It works really well with the mute. It slots right in there. Boom. It does. It adds a little bit more life to it when you play it acoustically. Great upgrade. Great upgrade. Feels much more natural. Washington. Okay, so you got Washington, Oregon, Delaware, and then both the Dakotas? Is that it for the free-for-all with no sales tax? I believe it is. I believe it is only 5 states left. Cheers. Nice one, Staley. I'll give the 8 a bit more pasting. Yeah, Robbo, why don't you help him out, Robbo? Make him a mini demo specifically for that guitar. I'd like to see it. Help him out. Post a video of it. Show him your banter. Show him that you're a real rock and roller. That shit still kills me. If you guys never saw that, you got to click on Robbo's video for that. That was the best. I think at least when I bought some Lawlers, I didn't get charged tax. It really depends. Internet sales tax will be taxed in every state eventually. Yes, that's where we're going. That's 100% where we're going. And this is all about making up for all lost revenue or misallocated revenue or, tax money that was given out to things that shouldn't have been given out to. And I was just like, oh, well, this is all a bad idea. How are we going to get this back? How are we going to make up for this? Oh, I know. We're just going to keep taxing people. That's why they changed the law to transactions of over $600 or total transaction sales over $600. Now you have to claim and do all that and have your paperwork for this year. They're not screwing around. They want every dollar back that they gave you. Every dollar that they took from you, from your own taxes that they gave to you, they want all that back. With interest, mind you. That's how it works. Good idea. Yeah, sometimes I have good ideas. That would be cool. I play hard but clean toes. Oh, Robbo plays hard too. Just you know, to have like two bottles of whiskey and then film the demo. I'd watch that. I would watch a live stream of that, but I'd probably poor Rob would get himself banned if he did that. Oh God, have you seen the premiere guitar video of Nova guitars and relicking processes? Basically, a bloke with a rock. I don't have any. Sometimes, if you don't have anything nice to say, you shouldn't say anything at all. But I saw it. During the pandemic, my little city, due to internet sales tax in Washington, was quite an unexpected windfall. Yeah, there's a lot of things. Like I said, I don't like talking about the P word on here, but when you're talking about buying and selling stuff, and you're talking about taxes, and you're talking about where to find the best deal for the smallest amount of money, we gotta try and help each other out while we can. And it's tough, especially when like saving even $100 to some people, that's a big deal. Like to me, like I don't need $100 to survive to pay rent, but an extra $100, that's like, what is that? It's something for my kid. I could take my kid out two or three extra days on a fun little day, because it's not expensive to go to like mini golf. Actually, it kind of is. Like mini golf's like $25. Go spend the day out, something like that. You get ice cream after. Like I could do that 4 times for free. Just if I buy the same thing I was gonna buy anyways somewhere else. Why wouldn't I do that? So at the time, things might seem more convenient, like you go to Sweetwater or, Guitar Center or wherever you're buying anything from. It's like, yeah, they have it, they'll get it to me good. It's a good return policy, blah, 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 blah. But like that extra money, man, that's no joke. And in some of these cases, it's a lot more than $100. It's a lot more that you'll save. So can't recommend it enough. If you're ever shopping around, just try to make a deal. Call directly. See what you can work out. Don't try to do anything illegal. Don't do anything illegal. I do not advise you to do anything illegal. But if you're in a state like I am, where the sales tax isn't an issue thing, I mean, do what you can for it. And do what you have to do. Any recommendations for Jazzmaster pickups? I live in the rhythm circuit. And you want the Lindy Fralins. Not the overrounds, though. If you live in the rhythm circuit, then I would just get the stock Fralins. Regular old ones. Not noise canceling, none of that bullshit, none of the P90s in the covers, no. You want just regular Fralin stocks. To die for. I like that. The neck pickup on with the rhythm circuit engaged in the American Vintage is probably one of my favorite tones on that guitar, honestly. Great. Sounds great. Thanks. If they can make a video on the acoustic guitar, let me know too. But I bet they have that covered. See, yeah, look at that. Helping each other out. Well, how else are they going to pay for the publicly funded football stadiums? How are they going to pay for the publicly funded everything, my friend? Oh, man. Yeah. Relic is stupid there. What is this? See, look at this. Now, so we got 2 people in here that YouTube doesn't like. They don't like Joe. And they don't like Augie. Would I have to reroute a guitar if I wanted to change a hardtail? Yes, you would. You'd have to have that routed out. The Made in Japan bridge pickup is very spiky. Yeah. You're going to find out with most Jazzmasters. It's just how it is. But maybe you just get the same exact set that I got. Because I wanted something with a little bit more beef to it. I got the 5% overround in the bridge. The Fralin set for that Jazzmaster. It's great. For a Jazzmaster, for what I feel, it's as good as it gets. I think Fralin make by far the best Jazzmaster pickups. That's just my own personal opinion, and I love that company. So it's a win-win. I'm not just buying something because I like them as people. I'm buying something because I love them as people, and they make the best product for me, from what I taste, and I play Jazzmasters forever. So I love them. Yeah, they censored that one too. Well then, F YouTube. Novo does it better than most. They can use all the rocks they want. Yeah, take it easy, James. Good seeing you. Novo, 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 Novo. I don't care about the relicking. I don't judge anybody for that. Just sometimes, I'm sure that the Novos are great guitars. I'm sure that, you know, they play amazing, but not for me. I was indecisive about buying a Victor V40 rig because of the tube situation. I followed your advice and got a good deal that worked for me. The dealer knocked the taxes off it a bit more. Yes, that is another thing that I said that you could do, and I'm glad that you took that advice. There are some people right now, anytime there's panic over like a non-essential thing. I mean, guys, we're talking about tubes. You shouldn't feel bad about this. Like if somebody's rushing out and they're trying to blow out an amp because of this, negotiate that. Be like, oh, you're going to have a hard time selling this. There's no tubes left, so why don't you give me this for this much? Dude, you're gonna be fine. You think you're never going to get tubes again? Ever again? You really think that's what's going to happen? That's not going to happen. It's all temporary. Everything's cyclical. Somebody will make tubes eventually. And everything will kind of return to somewhat of a normal standard-ish. And electro-harmonics, they're already taking orders again. Yeah, it's more of a wait, and the prices are up a little bit. But, I mean, if you're talking about an amp you really love, you just got a great deal on it. Good job. Have I ever tried the Antiquities? I've tried them in Japanese Jazzmaster. I like them, but the thing about those compared to the Fralins, it's kind of going to vary where you are in the band. Now, when I say that, I think that the Fralins are a little fuller sounding to my ears than the Antiquities were, and I feel like the bridge pickup especially was it retained a lot of the ice picky nature that I don't like as much with the Antiquities. I mean, you can roll off the volume a little bit to mitigate that. Or the other thing you can do is the sacrilegious. You can get rid of the 1 meg pots. But at that point, I don't like doing that because you sacrifice the neck pickup clean when you go down to that on the regular circuit, not the rhythm circuit, because I think that the best tone a Jazzmaster has is a clean neck pickup. I think so. I think that's the strongest attribute of that guitar. So to kind of mitigate that and then still have a beefed up bridge, yeah, it was just a little too high endy for me. Still didn't give the fullness that the Fralins gave, but they were good. I'm not going to repeat what you just typed there, Max. And the Antiquity 2 and the Monty's 15. The Monty's are good too. I have nothing against them. They're good. I just prefer the Fralins. I'm wondering how much Western Electrics are going to be charging for their tubes because their stuff is expensive. Yes. They're going to make an arm. They're going to gouge everybody to death on these. But you know what? People are going to pay it. Which is why I tell you guys, don't panic. Don't panic by shit. Do you want to go panic by something? Go panic by water and rice. Make sure you have food. No, I appreciate that, Staley. And like I say, I have something planned for tomorrow. It's not a live stream, but I'm gonna be talking to Aaron again. We've been having we talk like every day now, almost on Instagram. He's like my buddy. It's a very interesting thing. I'm gonna end the stream shortly after this, but it's a kind of a philosophical thing as a YouTube person. Are we really contributing anything? I mean that genuinely. Yeah, sometimes we'll do product demos and stuff like that, and it is nice to watch somebody who has been paid and, go over things and honestly assess how a guitar shows up, the condition, the packaging, whether or not it's built like shit, quite frankly, that kind of stuff. It's nice to have that. But like, as far as like the actual making music stuff and the focusing on music stuff, like, are we really contributing to any of that? I don't know. So we're gonna have a long conversation about our experiences as YouTubers, how we feel about it, what we like doing, what we don't like doing, all that fun stuff. I mean, luckily for me, I don't do a lot of things I don't like, Probably the only thing that I've done that I really didn't want to do again was last week's stream. But I was so mad, and they blanket statemented a lot of things, and they made a lot of assumptions about people like me, and they're hypocrites, and they were wrong. So I had to correct that. But in general, like, I do what I want. Like, I talk about what I want. Like, sometimes I'll upload a video and I'm like, this is gonna get like 50 views. I don't care because I wanted to talk about it. Whatever. If that means that I'm never gonna be, you know, Jim reacts to Mary Spender reacting to Rick Beato about talking about him with 100 million views on it, so be it. I'm fine with that. I don't want any of that garbage anyways. Nothing against those two. It's just, you know what I mean? Like the reaction of the reaction kind of video stuff. Like, no. I would much rather shoot the shit and tell you guys about, something that's actually applicable to like my situation and my opinions on guitars than go out down that route for views. Pete Torn has a video on the manufacturing from China. He seemed to like them and he didn't wait long. That's cool. That's really cool. Thanks, Nathan. I appreciate that. I've had one bad 12AX7. I'm a house player, so I'm not moving amps. Tubes rarely break. Yeah, and tubes will last a long time, man. You know what's really sick? Even though... Oh, did I move them? No, I didn't. Okay, this wasn't planned. I just, like... These are just in my drawer. These EL34s. They've just been sitting here. Yeah. These guys are good. No problems. How much were these each? $15.99 each when I bought them. That's a pretty profit if I wanted to sell them. But I got tubes everywhere. Just because I only want to play tube amps if I can. But the Tone Master thing, yeah, I mean, it worked well live. The other cool thing, I didn't talk about this, when we played with the Tone Master, at one point, instead of running through the PA, I was like, play the ukulele through it. My wife was like, what are you talking about? And I was just like, let's test it. So she plugged into the normal channel of the Tone Master, and I played through the vibrato channel, and it actually sounded good. I was really surprised by it. I thought that was kind of cool. That's true. Are they censoring all your comments? No, not all of them, just most. I have a JCM 900 with the same tubes for years. I don't like React videos either. Yeah, it's just not for me. What I don't get, and this baffles me, because I could do this. Because I actually know these bands and I like these bands, like especially the Japanese bands, like Bandmate and Unlucky Morpheus and Scandal and Versailles and Hizaki Grace Project, like all those, like X Japan. I actually know those bands. I like those bands. I could provide actual commentary on it. People will just have videos where it's them in the main frame and then the video playing up here. They have like tens of thousands of views on them, and I'm like, who the hell is clicking this? I'm like, you're literally watching somebody watch other people watch a YouTube video. It's like videoception. It's like Inception. I'm like, what? No, like, what is the appeal to this? And I know I could do that, and I know it would grow my channel, and I know it would get me cheap views. I can't morally do that because I think it's garbage. I think it's throwaway content. Now, some people, if they enjoy it, whatever. Like, some people, they enjoy watching NFL football. I can't watch that shit either. So I guess to each their own. But it's just funny that I see the opportunity there, but I'm not going to do it. I would have already done it by now. I also think working on guitars, no, I'm not reacting to anything. The extent of my reactions are when I unbox a guitar, and after I'm done with it on the bench, and I'm holding it up like a schmuck, and I say, my initial thoughts on this guitar, that's the extent of my reactions. That's the extent. That, and then after I'm done playing it. But then I'm like actually reacting to an experience I had, not to somebody else's content that they made. That's just weird. To me, that's weird. I don't know. I can't do it. Can't do that shit. I just can't do it. God bless you if you like it. God, and to anybody that does that, I get it because I definitely see the financial, the reasoning for doing it. Like a video like that will do very well for a lot of people, especially once you have a following. People will love clicking on those things. Cool. But I ain't fucking doing it. Sorry for my French. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, you guys, now that we know that Max has been banned from YouTube, Augie's been banned from YouTube, well, from the comment section, we're learning a lot. Yeah, they are. They're definitely making money. Don't call it reaction. Name it. Have you heard of this band? No, I'm not doing that. Jim, you should check out a musician called M. Matteo Chidi. He's French funky pop. Reminds me a bit of Japanese stuff. I will definitely check that out. React videos are like sharing something that they enjoy with someone else, but on a digital scale. Yeah, I mean, if I want to share somebody else's content, I have a share button in my community. I don't need to interject myself into it. Like, I've shared people's videos that are in this chat today. I didn't make a video to be like, this is their video and this is me reacting to their video. No, I just clicked the damn share button. Like, this is a cool video. Check it out. Click it. That's my reaction. My reaction is to share it so that other people can watch it and then come to their own conclusions and have their own reactions on their own. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. To one topic, to one type of music, to one band. Yeah, it's all culty. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. No hate to anybody. Anybody that does anything to make a living, that they're comfortable with. Because everybody else has a different moral line. And I respect that. So, cool. If somebody wants to do something they want to do, good for them. But that doesn't mean that everybody should do it, should feel the need to do it, or should do something that they're not comfortable with doing. That's all. Pretty easy. I should react to reactions. That would actually be that would be the way if I was gonna do it, that's how I would do it. And I would just basically mock the entire process as well as myself. But that's cheap. I've worked hard to not have to do any of that stuff. Wait, why did it hold that? Okay. This is the last thing I'm going to read today. I'm going to answer this question, but then we're going to end this. I have to say this, okay? This comment gets held for review. Any advice on how to start doing my own setup on guitars? I have a shit Harley Benton Strat, won't stay in tune and horrible intonation, so there's no worry if I ruin it. Why is that held for review? Why is that held for review? What did the Flyers say there that was so bad that needed to be held for review? Anyway, if you want to learn how to set up a guitar, you want to do it on your own, right? I always recommend getting a book. Get a proper luthier's book. I don't know where you are in the world. StewMac, still a few. That'll teach you the ins and outs. But if you don't want to do that, literally StewMac's YouTube channel. They have so many good instructional things for stuff like this. I highly recommend it. That's where I learned how to cut and file a nut. Literally on YouTube from StewMac. And now I'm very confident with it, with everything. Just have to have the right tools. You have to have the patience. They tell you what you need. They show you what to do, what not to do on any given topic. And yeah, if you want to do that, a Harley Benton is a good guitar to learn on, because then you're not gonna break something that's so dear that it's not irreplaceable. Or if it's a little bit of damage, I mean, who cares? It's cool. It's a rock and roll. That's how you relic a guitar. You screw it up by working on it and tightening things too hard. Or you get screwdriver holes when you're a little sloppy with your hands and it accidentally hits the front of the instrument and you're like, God damn it, I'm not getting that out. Or the soldering iron kind of hits the top. Oh, there's a million ways you could screw up a guitar and naturally relic it. Just trying to work on it unintentionally. You know what? You might get some cool points. People be like, oh, is that a Fender custom shop? Yeah, dude. Yeah. I definitely didn't screw up. Yeah. Censored you again, Joe. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, guys. I recommend StuMac 100%. Anything you want to learn how to work on your own instrument, check them out. They're as good as it gets. But I'm gonna run. I gotta take my wife. I gotta take her somewhere. That's a secret. And then after that, I gotta pick up the little one from school. So we'll see. Tomorrow's not gonna be the guitar demo because obviously it's gonna get here tomorrow. So we're gonna have a different video. The demo will be on Saturday for the guitar that I did for Alamo Music, assuming UPS actually get it to me tomorrow, which they said they will. So I'm really excited for that, and I'm really excited to support that awesome shop. But love you guys. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you tomorrow. Take it easy.